Welcome back to Asset Coach and Tax Strategist as we continue our economic termites lesson or session or parts or whatever we want to call this. We've talked about the first economic termite taxes, the second economic termite inflation, the third economic termite time. Now we're coming to the fourth, the the queen termite, so to speak, the one that causes all of our issues, headaches, lost hair, wrinkles, crow's feet, whatever you want to call it, laws and regulations, our politicians. Okay. Number four, and I repeat, number four, laws and regulations, our politicians. Why is this an economic termite? Do I have to answer this? But I will, because one of the things you've heard me talk about numerous times, probably ad nauseum, is learn the rules of how the game is played and then use those rules to your advantage by playing the game rather than being played by the game. This is the disclaimer. This is the asterisk. The politician changing the rules as we play the game. Imagine in the game, we did this as kids. Think about it. When you had kids that you would play with that were cheaters, they would change the rules in the actual activity of the game to help benefit them. And you'd be like, hang on, time out. You can't do that. That's not part of the rules. And they say, oh, it is now. What do you want to do? Right in the nose, right? I mean, no way, you can't do that. But it does happen. It does happen. Our politicians, well, you vote them in. Well, not all of us do. Not all of us do. And there are certain things that they do to benefit themselves. So there is a lot of issues with our current political system. Both sides of the aisle. I am not saying one is better than the other. This is a constant struggle for us, we the people. All right. And that is the problem, is that this establishment, the political establishment, has forgotten that we the people, it's like in the Bug's Life, right? When the grasshopper says, imagine if the ants finally figure out there's more of them than us. Hello? There's a reason why we're the United States of America. I believe we're no longer under Britain rule. Um, Wonder why, right? Because though we were less than they, but all of a sudden we're free. But are we? Are we? And so this is really, really difficult. And this is go through and look at this. So like Obamacare, um, said what they said when they tried to pass Obamacare, there won't be any changes to taxes. Obamacare individual mandate excise tax took effect in 2014. Obamacare employer mandate tax took effect in 2014. Obamacare surtax on investment took effect in 2013. So on and so on. This is just one of them. Obamacare, 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 Obamacare. Right? Go back. This is what happens with the tax situation, is that the politicians, when they make changes to rules as we're playing the game, you and I have invested time, goes back to economic termite 3, time, that all of a sudden, oh, yeah, I should put money into my retirement account. Good idea. Good idea. Okay, yeah, yeah. And then when I put money into my retirement account, I have certain access to this money and what if I don't need this money? Okay, I have required minimum distributions, RMDs. Okay. But what if I'm able to hire an estate attorney and we're able to structure something to where I can pass that money off to future generations? Okay, that's great. And then all of a sudden, time out, rule change. Okay. And that's what's happening. But now you're at the end of the game. It's fourth quarter and 2 minutes left, and you're like, you can't change that rule. But they have. They have. And in fact, Obama's first term, he talked about possibly creating an excise tax on retirement accounts. No, 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 no. Where there's smoke, there's fire. His second term, he did it. And then we had a reprieve, right? We had Trump. We didn't hear that. We had a lot of tax reform. And all of a sudden now in our current administration, what are they talking about? Oh, excise tax. Or if you have more than 3 million in your retirement account, you don't need more than that. How do you know? It's my money. I put it in there. Why, who's to say that I don't need what I need? But if you have over a certain amount, right? It's like the current administration saying no one under 400,000 in income is going to be audited. Bull crap. You have to audit those people. There are people with under 400,000 in income that are doing wrong things on their tax returns. When you look at the IRS data book, they show in their data book, they come out with every year, they show what their audit numbers are. And by income, and some of the highest percentages are those that are in lower incomes. Why? Because they're trying to deduct things that they're not allowed to. Why? Because they're in lower income. Inflation, cost of living is expensive. They have to do something. Okay? You may not agree with the way the wealthy use the tax code in the legal system to reduce their tax liability, but listen to what I just said. They're using the tax code and the legal system to reduce their tax liability. They're not making things up from thin air. And if they are, guess what? They're being caught. But those are outliers. Those are unicorns. That's not the majority. Sure, they may not be paying the same percentage as you as a W-2 employee because they're not a W-2 employee. They have other investments and assets that are taxed differently. They're paying more taxes than you are paying, but not the same percentage, nor should they. Because that's how the legal system and the tax code is written. What would that look like, though? Let me share my screen here. And what would that look like if there was an excise tax? All right, so let's assume that retirement assets are 27.9, what's that, trillion, right? Thousand, million, billion, trillion. $27.9 trillion in retirement. If they did a 5% excise tax, that would create an additional almost $4 trillion in tax revenue. Why wouldn't they do that? They're spending our tax dollars like crazy. They added $10 trillion or whatever in the last 4 years from 2020 to now. They're giving money away to other countries like it's grows on trees. Well, it does. They print it. That causes our inflation. We, the people, are the ones that are affected by this. This is an example. Changing the rules. Well, if you have over 3 million, you don't need all that extra money. We're gonna tax anything above that. But you told me to do this. You told me that this is how I was able to save for retirement, and I did. And I was going to give this to my 8 children. And we were disciplined in our life to be able to save in our retirement accounts and stay within our means, and we have no debt, and we played by the rules, and now you're going to punish us? Laws and regulations, folks. The fourth termite, which is the worst termite. It's the worst termite. Now, they do make some benefits and changes to us, to help us, you and I, as the taxpayer, right? There's two sides of every coin. When they make changes, it affects and helps some, and it changes and affects and hurts others. Of course, they're in a impossible situation to please everybody. We're not asking you to please everybody. Okay. We're asking you that when we lay out rules, for example, why in the world do they tax Social Security benefits? If I am retired and I'm earning Social Security benefits, why in the world are they being taxed as income? I already put it in. It was already a tax I put in. And now you're double taxing that. Well, the first 15% is tax-free. Only 85% of it based on your income. Yeah, the income is like 30 or 40,000. And it includes all of your incomes from all assets. I'd much rather them say, if you have $3 million or more in your retirement account, you use that money instead of Social Security. I'd much rather them do that because you know what? That actually makes more sense than taxing Social Security. Just saying. Just saying. Be a little smarter. Well, I paid into that system. Yeah, you paid in that system, but you also did a very good job of being disciplined and saved up a separate nest egg. That was the point of retirement accounts and other assets. Social Security is really to help benefit those that didn't make the decisions or didn't have the means or had disability or whatever the situation is that qualifies them for Social Security. I'd much rather that. And right now, Trump's talking about, hey, you guys elect me, we're going to cut out taxing on Social Security for those that are receiving those benefits. Well, good. It's about damn time. That's ridiculous. Because these poor folks are trying to cross their fingers and hope, oh, I hope my Social Security benefit increases next year based on cost of living adjustment, COLA. Oh, it's only going up 0.8%, but food went up 8%. How am I going to do this? Our rent's going up another $25 a month. That's $300 a year. How am I going to do this? Well, one way is by not taxing their social. This is my opinion, whatever it's worth. But at the end of the day, I think that's beneficial. I think that's socially responsible. Now, if they want to come up with, like they did with the progressive tax system, what we call our income funnel, and that if you have a certain amount of assets and net worth or whatever, that there's a certain limit that you get access to your Social Security, I'm okay with that. Shoot, if I did a great job and I'm worth $10 million or $5 million and I've got a nice income stream coming from that and I've reaping the rewards, why should I get my $2,000 or $3,000 a month Social Security check? I'm going to pay taxes on it anyways. Of course, unless it becomes non-taxable. But then again, why do I need this? I've already done a good job. So maybe they do a scaling of that. I'm fine with that as getting access to. So I'm not trying to change politics here, but I am trying to let's be a little more thoughtful, mindful of what we're doing here and why we're doing what we're doing. This is ridiculous. And so, but the point of this termite is that these are all going to change. In 5-10 years, the rules are going to change. But here's what stays consistent. Taxes, inflation, time, and politicians. You know, politicians are designed to create laws, which means it creates changes. The only constant is change. And if you don't have that mindset and you don't go out and learn the rules or hire somebody like our firm to help understand the rules, to help you play by the rules rather than get played by the rules, then you're destined to repeat history when the knowledge has been given to you. Plain and simple. I'm overweight. Is it because no one told me to go walk and exercise and eat healthier? Don't sit in a chair all day long, get a standing desk, walk on a treadmill. No, everybody said that. Am I blaming somebody because I'm 30 pounds overweight? No, that's my fault because I am not implementing that knowledge. Do I have reasons? Sure. Do I have excuses that I use as reasons? Sure, I'm human. That's my responsibility. I don't blame anybody for that. That's my choice. I'm responsible for it. So maybe we should start taking responsibility for our decisions or lack of decisions. And maybe that should be a termite. Us. Termite 5. You. Maybe. It'll have its own book, right? The worst termite, me. Maybe be on the lookout. So, hey, thanks so much for spending and investing your time with us. Hopefully, this is helpful and valuable. Sometimes I go on rants, but you know what? Darn it, it feels darn good for me. And this is my channel, and I'm going to rant and rave if I want to rant and rave. It's my party, and I get, no, just kidding. So, hey, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Look forward to our next episode drop next Thursday. Chat soon. Bye.